Good morning and welcome to the routine weekly briefing starting today, Monday, for Central North Carolina. My name is Aaron Swiggett, and I'm a meteorologist here at the Raleigh office. And I will be your weather tour guide here today, walking us through the week and giving you a little peek to see what's coming up ahead. So let's go ahead and get started. We're covering the period today, starting the August 10th through August 16th. Already 7 days into the future, and we're already at mid-August. Hard to believe. But summer months are coming to an end, and thankfully, if you're anything like me and tired of the summer heat and humidity and whatnot, hopefully that's coming to an end here soon. So let's go ahead and get started here. And similar to the past couple of days, just wanted to advertise here, starting off, that we are having a virtual tropical weather training this Thursday, or Thursday coming up in about a week and a half on August 20th, and that'll be from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So mark your calendars. This is free and open to everyone who's able to join. The registration link is down there across the bottom there. And yeah, come and join us. It should be a good time. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, tropical weather related, climatology, products, new things for this year, tropical hazards, all the good stuff. So if you're interested in that at all or want a refresher, that is a great resource, and that'll be August 20th. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the weather pattern here coming up. Really, for the most part, what we've been experiencing, these isolated heavy downpours, localized severe damaging wind gusts kind of deal with most places remaining dry. That pattern will likely continue for the next few days, hot, humid, through the work week. We are going to start warming up quite a bit, especially over the next few days. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But what we're going to be looking at is the progression of this slow-moving front. You can kind of see here in the top left panel, we have a front that kind of draped across the Great Lakes down into the mid-Mississippi Valley today, and then into Wednesday. That's going to slowly shift through the Ohio Valley, northern Middle-Atlantic, and maybe getting into Virginia on Wednesday. And then Friday, maybe, we'll see, getting down into the Carolinas perhaps on Friday. And we'll see what happens, but it's probably going to be a weakening trend as it kind of shifts south. We'll see if that does indeed push south of our area and weaken at that time. But maybe we'll see a brief period of some northerly winds, some cloud cover, and maybe a little bit cooler heading into the late week into early next week. So, or even just a brief little cool down, which is probably more likely on Saturday. So a brief cool down after, right immediately behind that front before it starts to lift northward into early next week. So we'll see how all that kind of continues, but that is the overall, at least the forecast pattern that we're going to be going into. So for more specifics, let's go ahead and look at the overall accumulated precipitation forecast from the Weather Prediction Center. You can see a classic summertime pattern here of very speckled nature of hit and miss, localized, greater rainfalls over where a shower or thunderstorm falls apart. But then for the most part, a lot of people remaining dry. Coverage may increase a little bit on Tuesday, a little bit of uncertainty on where that may occur or if there may occur at all. But we'll see. For the most part, we're just expecting an increase in some showers and thunderstorms, some of which may be severe. We'll get into that here in a little bit. And then Wednesday as well, although this coverage may be a little bit on the low side, but we'll see. Again, this is going to be a summertime pattern, very hard to pin down exact areas that are going to be seeing some the heavier showers and thunderstorms. So we'll get into a little bit more of the details as we get a little bit closer as confidence increases. But Friday, if you remember, I did mention the front kind of moving into Virginia, perhaps in northern North Carolina, and that may result in a little bit more greater coverage in some showers and rain. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. If you look at the 5-day total, your eyes may immediately be pulled to the Ohio Valley and the western slopes of the Appalachian Mountains. Several days of heavy rainfall and persistent over the area. Bad news for up that way. So hopefully, if you have any family members out that way, hopefully all are weather aware and that will have many rounds of heavy rain and flash flooding concerns. So keeping an eye on that but for our area, for the most part, again, very much hit and miss with some accumulations over the 5 days, as much as a tenth to a quarter to as much as around an inch. But certainly isolated locations could see higher totals, closer to 2 to 3 inches or so. So continuation of that classic summertime pattern. The main thing that we wanted to get to and really start to highlight is our heat risk for the next 3 days, and especially into the rest of the work week. Potentially for dangerous heat really starts to ramp up starting today, but then especially as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into through Friday. So there's a little bit of concern on the cloud cover and maybe some cool outflow from storms upstream of the Ohio Valley in Virginia that may complicate the temperature forecast and would affect the overall heat risk that any one area would be sensing for a particular day. But for the most part, generally, and for the most part, if convection is a little bit less so over the area, we see less showers and thunderstorms, then the atmosphere would support widespread major heat risk and localized, probably extreme heat risk as well, with very minimal overnight relief as far as overnight minimum temperatures there. So, and especially in that Wednesday to Friday time frame. But although we could see heat indices rising over 100 to 105, maybe even above 105 as early as Tuesday. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for at least weather heat related headlines. All right, I mentioned severe, so let's talk a little bit about that. I blew it up a little bit here, only showing today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. There weren't any outlooks for beyond Wednesday for Thursday onward, so I just made these graphics a little bit bigger for everyone to see. For the most part these days, Tuesday and Wednesday, the pattern will support isolated to scattered strong severe thunderstorms. Not expecting great coverage there, but we could have localized greater coverage. But where that's going to be is hard to pin down at this time. We'll have greater confidence as we get a little bit closer and we see what happens up over the Ohio Valley today and tonight. The main hazard is going to be damaging straight line winds. Any of these days, that's going to be your main hazard there. And as I kind of mentioned, the Thursday, Friday time frame, although there's no outlooks, we could see as the pattern and the air mass that's over us will support additional strong to severe thunderstorms Thursday and maybe even Friday as well. But predictability is a little bit too low, especially with some uncertainty on that front, where it's going to be, how it's going to affect things. So we'll have a little bit more details as we get a little bit closer there. And then flooding, unfortunately, that time of year where when it rains, it pours, and it comes down quick. And if that happens over any urban area or poor drainage location, some isolated flash flooding could be possible. So the greatest potential, at least for the next 3 days, going to be across the south, Wadesboro, Fayetteville, over towards Clinton kind of area for today. We should see a little bit greater coverage of some showers and thunderstorms across that area. But then that area of concern expands over all of central North Carolina for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then even some additional flooding concerns on Friday when that front gets a little bit closer. But again, low confidence on the location and the magnitude of any potential flooding concerns for there, just given some of the uncertainties. But again, stay tuned. We'll have certainly much better confidence for the Thursday briefing later this week. And looking a little bit beyond what we forecast, so we rely heavily on the Climate Prediction Center. We're looking at the time period from August 17th through the 23rd, and continued warm, unfortunately. So still favoring some above normal temperatures during that time frame, but near normal rainfall for the area, and near normal for most locations across central North Carolina is around an inch or so in that 7-day period. So you can kind of think of an additional inch is the favored rainfall. But again, with the summertime probabilities, the footprint of rainfall being very scattered to hit and miss kind of stuff. Some places will probably see some above normal rainfall, and certainly some other locations may see well below normal rainfall. So kind of smoothed out. Expect generally around an inch for the most part across the area. All right, if you have been watching the tropics, you can see that things have gotten a little bit more active. If you hadn't seen this since our Thursday briefing where there was no probabilities anywhere, we have a few areas of interest. The closest one is not expected to move westward or anything like that. So the one here, I'll draw it on the map here. This one here, this 10%, is expected to continue to move eastward and away from any coastal areas. So not expecting any concern there. And then we have the low to medium chances of tropical development in the main development region between the Lesser Antilles and the west coast of Africa. So none of these are particularly concerning at this time. Still something just to watch, but just a reminder that we are starting to get and ramp up to our normal peak or ramp up with tropical activity here. So I kind of marked right around where today is on our Atlantic hurricane and tropical storm activity map here from the National Hurricane Center, when they did a climatology between 1944 and 2020. So you can kind of see that the campfire, as it were, starts to rapidly increase from basically now peaking at some point in early to mid-September with a slow recession and activity beyond that. So we're starting to ramp up. We're starting to see that activity increase. We're still, for the most part, forecasting a below normal tropical activity this year, but we'll see. And again, just a reminder, it only takes one storm to have significant impacts. If you remember Chantal, that was the only tropical storm, tropical cyclone that made landfall last year and created significant impacts across central North Carolina, especially in the Triangle and Chapel Hill area. So it only takes one storm. We'll be keeping an eye on it. We'll be keeping you up to date. Don't you worry. But just a reminder that here we go. Tropical season is upon us. All right, graphical hazardous weather outlook, just a graphical representation of the potential hazards and the categories associated with those. We kind of mentioned already our severe thunderstorm risk here, and mainly being wind, and then our flooding risk, pretty much the limited to urban and poor drainage locations at any point today, mainly across the south, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, anywhere, and same thing for Friday, really anywhere. And the highest categories being our extreme heat, so that's what we really want to start to message and just kind of be aware that we are going to be approaching those dangerous heat indices Tuesday, and then especially as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time frame. So I just wanted to pop out one of the graphics here. If you click on any of those buttons on our webpage, this is the risk for dangerous heat on Thursday. So those purple areas you can kind of see are very far and few between. The greater potential will be for heat indices of greater than 105 or greater than or equal to 105, which is in that red color there. So mainly thinking heat advisory type threat for now, but certainly as we have increased confidence in any kinds of showers and thunderstorms and how that may impact the temperatures for the day, heat headlines may be needed at some point, but we'll keep you guys up to date on that. All right, long-winded today. Apologize for that. Just wanted to chat with you guys. But for the full weather summary here, again, hot and humid, that'll persist through the work week. Watching for any kind of dangerous heat potentials and any heat headlines Tuesday through Friday. And then we'll have a potential for a front and some cool down. You can kind of see in the temperature forecast on the right-hand side of the screen here, with temperatures in the getting closer to normal for this time of the year. Behind that frontal passage, and we'll see a little bit cooler, maybe more cloudy conditions. In between that and ahead of the front, still isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms capable of producing mainly your damaging wind gust potential. And if any storms are slow to move, they may bring a heavy rain and localized risk for flash flooding occurring any day really this week. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will stop the recording here.